Welcome to Literary Libations with Librarians, and this week we are going to be sharing books that help us get stuff done, or at least make us want to get stuff done. As we're sharing, if any of the titles that we speak about are of interest to you, there are various ways to get your hands on them. As we talk, the titles and the covers will appear on your screen, and it will let you know what formats are available through the Monroe County Library System. The quickest way to get access to these is probably to give your local branch a call and speak to one of the librarians there, and they can help you out with that. If you'd prefer to do it on your own, you can access our online catalog. That web address is on your screen right now. And through that, you can request physical formats, hardcover, paperback, audio on CD, and large print. If you're interested in digital versions of these titles, those are available through two different platforms provided through the Monroe County Library System. The first is Overdrive, or you may hear it referred to by the name of its app, which is Libby. And Overdrive offers downloadable ebooks and audiobooks. And we also offer Hoopla, which offers downloadable ebooks, audiobooks, and also movies, music, and graphic novels. And the great thing about Hoopla is that there is never a wait for any of the titles that you see on that platform. And with us this week is myself, Jennifer Granuski. I'm the community librarian at the Dundee branch. And our question this week, as we were thinking about books that help us get things done, was what is your least favorite household chore or task to do? What do you just dread doing? And for me, I don't know if it counts as a household task, but I'm counting it, is anything having to do with financial paperwork. I hate it. It makes me feel stupid because I don't know what they want in each of the little things. And there's 45 lines that say, if this, then this, and if this, then this. And in the last set of paperwork that I had to fill out, there was something that had to be notarized, which makes me definitely not want to get it done because then I got to make an appointment and talk to other people. So any of that financial paperwork, I will procrastinate as long as is possible before I am forced to get it taken care of. So bless my husband, who is willing to do a lot of that. And thank you to my Uncle Richard, who does our taxes for us every year. He deserves an extra special blessing. So that's my least favorite household task or chore. Also with us this week is Isabella Arnold, who is a processing clerk at our administrative building. And she has a special guest with her this week, Lehman. So Lehman and Isabella, what are your least favorite household tasks?
I do not do outside stuff. I am an grass. I'm not big on the weeding. I never was outside growing up. I mean, I was outside playing, but I would never do the outside chores growing up. That was my brother's responsibility. So I never learned to do it. I'm lucky if my flowers are alive until like July. Like it's a big deal if I can keep something alive like through June. And yeah, that's my least favorite. I mean, is it really my least favorite when I don't do it at all? But like my least favorite thing is to go outside and pretend to help whenever I'm asked to do so.
I like the pretend to help. I'm out here existing with you. I'm sure that's helpful.
I will carry the bag and I will just keep applying all the sunscreen so nobody else has any.
Yeah, I'm not a real big outdoor person. I'll do it if I feel like I really need to, show solidarity. But when we moved into this house, Mike wanted to get a riding lawnmower for the first time. And I said, yes, we can do that. The agreement is I never have to do it. And so he agreed to that. And I have not had to mow the lawn since we have been in this house. So
I have cut the grass twice in my life. Once in my life, I've cut the grass.
I've never cut the grass.
I have.
Very fortunate that other people have always done that for me.
It's one of those things where it was I did it, and I'm pretty sure Mike regretted it because he likes the straight, stripy lines, and mine were like, like There's a push mower. I don't know. I'm just not good at making straight lines, apparently. Thank you, Isabella. Also with us this week is Stephanie Winterstein, who is the Youth Services Librarian for the Ida and Summerfield Petersburg branches. And what's your least favorite household task?
See, I'm a little strange, and I like cleaning when I like cleaning. Like it, if that makes sense. Like, it puts me in a good mood when I have a clean house. I put my music on and I clean. But the dishwasher has to be, unloading the dishwasher has to be my least favorite. I don't know why. It's way better than washing the dishes by hand. But I will literally do anything not to do it. I'll pretend that I don't see that it's ready to be unloaded. I will stack some dishes next to the sink, hoping someone else jumps on. My kids, when they're with us half the time, and so when they're home, they get to take a turn doing it. And then the rest of the time, I just kind of pretend that the dishes aren't there so that my husband will do it, and that's really, really bad. And I don't know what it is. I just don't like putting the dishes away, which is terrible. But yeah, anything else, I love it. I will look at my clean house and enjoy it for the hour or so that it's clean and pretty. But then, I don't know, just come to the dishes. It's not my thing.
Maybe it's because they're already tucked away.
Yeah.
So it seems like that's good enough. Like you can't see them, so they're not messing up, the ambiance of the clean house. So it's like, that just seems like extra.
Right. And my kitchen is the one, like, I have to have my kitchen clean. I can't go to bed with like dishes on the counter, or like it's a weird thing. But yeah, I mean, if they're just tucked in there, they're clean.
They're fine.
Just
They're there.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Stephanie. Also with us this week is Jen McCarty, a reference librarian at our Ellis branch. And what is your least favorite household task, Jen?
All of them. Yes, really all of them. No, I think if I have to rank them, I'm gonna go with vacuuming / sweeping the floors. That's one of those things that also feels like an incredibly thankless or endless task for me. We have 2 dogs and 2 cats and 2 kids, and they all are just so messy. So I feel like we can vacuum or sweep, and 30 seconds later it needs to be done again. So kind of like your dishes, I just like to pretend like it doesn't exist. Oh, there's stuff on the floor. I don't see it.
Yeah. I'd come over. I would vacuum for you. I love the lines.
Oh, so, I hate vacuuming. Yeah. And we only have carpet in 2 bedrooms now. So like the majority of our house is hardwood, which is great. And it cleans up easy and it sweeps up easy. It's not like it's a super complicated task, but I just hate doing it.
Maybe somebody will get a Roomba for you.
I want one.
Holidays. I do not have
a Roomba. One so bad.
I have a 12-year-old.
We have a
he gets to vacuum.
Yeah, so I want one.
Oh, I'm vacuuming right now, but I'm not really. The robot's going. It's not. It's wonderful.
I want one.
Yeah.
Someday. We have both of our dogs are old, and so my husband's afraid that like it will scare the dogs and like give them a heart attack.
My Roomba killed my dog. That would be awful.
See, I mean, that's legitimately my husband's biggest concern. Or that it will, like you see those horror stories of it going over something.
That it shouldn't, yeah.
I could see that happening too in my house. Yeah. Like, oh, there's, Roomba, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't have one. So maybe someday once the 12-year-old has moved out of the house. So. All right. And let's go ahead and move into our books that help us get stuff done. And I think I'm going to let Isabella start us off with her books that help her get stuff done.
So my books, I'm going to start with The Joy of Less. Now, I love a good tidying book, tidying TV show. I have bought Marie Kondo's The Art of Tidying Up probably 4 times and given it away 4 times because I feel so passionate about it that I give it to other people and I don't know where they are. I don't know who has them. I just hope their drawers are perfect. So I read The Joy of Less. It's similar to The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. I feel like it's not as wordy per se, and as my son kicks over the computer. It's not as wordy. It's a lot easier to read and just to dig through, and then it just makes you want to go and immediately start tidying up. And one thing that she kind of divides her categories into is beautiful, useful, and sentimental, which I kind of liked, just really distilling it down like that. Like, is it beautiful? Yes. Is it useful? Yes. Is it sentimental? Yes. And everything else? Nope. Goodbye. And then she also has a streamline method, which I did write down because it had many steps. And one of them that I liked was, so you start over and then trash, treasure, or transfer. Is it trash? Get rid of it. If you need to treasure it, put it where it belongs because it's a treasure. Or transfer, donate it. Like, I love that, just simplified. Is it trash? Is it treasure? Or do we need to find a new home? Like, so good. And then she really sticks about like having all your surfaces clean, having clean counters. Love clean counters. Clean table. Oh, I love a clean table. And yeah, I'm not going to go into all of her details because you should read it. But it was really nice, light read. And it just makes you want to go and, you know, dump out all of your closets and see what's really back there and, you know, donate it all or trash it all. Yeah, I feel like Joy of Less was good. Next would definitely be Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up. And then my third favorite minimalist book is All That Remains, which you have to get from Milkcat right now, for Everything That Remains, by the Minimalists. So yeah, I love all of my closets are arranged by sleeve order and then color. It's so nice. All the drawers are ridiculously folded. That was one of my nesting things right before I had Lee, was I dumped out everything. Everything got organized. It was so nice. My husband would come home and all of his shirts would be in color order. He didn't appreciate it, but I loved it.
I'm so jealous of organized people because I am not that person.
Oh,
No, I am what Mike calls shove things and other things, so that most of the things look neat. It's not necessarily
clutter, like,
but
the
it
clutter
sort of appears that way.
I love to have a clean counter, like the one time a year that it happens. And I always say, oh, I think we gotta keep this up. Like, let's just put our stuff away. And it lasts for 5 minutes.
It's so hard with kids, though. You can't.
Everything has to have a place. And once everything has a place, it's so much easier to maintain it and just put it back where it belongs. Because that's one thing I'm constantly, you know.
I don't have that gene.
For things, and my husband can never, he says, find anything because everything's put away. It's like, yeah, when the table's cleaned off, you can't find anything. So it's not right there. But we have a system. So our last name's Arnold, and from that TV show, like Hey Arnold, back in like the late 90s, early 2000s, I have a little figurine of Hey Arnold. And whenever my husband leaves stuff out, I put it on top of whatever it is. And it's like, ooh, that's not its place. It needs to go home. And so we're slowly getting there. It's great. I'll happily come organize anybody's place. Like, I used to beg my teachers to let me organize their drawers. Beg teachers. Like, I just want to put all those paper clips in color order, please. Yeah, I love a good home edit, organization, bins. Oh, I have so many bins going right now. It's fabulous. And I get even more chances to organize with this little boy over here because, you know, his clothes.
Baby stuff.
I love it. So yeah, I am a freak. I recognize. But you need a quick read on organizing. Joy of Less. Super nice. So yeah, and then my other book is different, and it's French Kids Eat Everything. 10 Simple Ways to Quit Snacking, and I forget all the subtitle. But I read it because it was time to like start feeding my kid real foods, and it's like, what do? I want my kid to eat everything, because I'm a vegetarian and my husband doesn't eat vegetables. So I wanted my son to err on my side than his side. So it's like, how do I trick my son into eating like beets? Let's try this. And I loved this book. I just read it a few months ago, and it kind of gave me more of than just how to, you know, trick your kid to eat more foods. It was really taught me a lot about how I eat and about what I want to eat, and of different things that like food rules that I didn't know existed. Like in France, it's like the epitome of terrible to eat by yourself. And it's even worse. You eat by yourself and look at your phone. How many meals do I spend doing that? A crazy amount. And snacking. Ooh, they don't snack in France. Like, that's not a thing. And so some of the things that I took away that I really, really liked about this book is knowing that, like, the parent is in charge. The parent schedules the meal. The parent is in charge of the meal. Like, you don't get to short order cook everything and, you know, make macaroni and cheese 9 days out of the week. Which is one thing that they kept harping upon, is that you are in charge. The child doesn't get French fries every day. And then, what are the other ones? Avoid emotional eating. So instead of, you know, you go to the grocery store and you get a treat for behaving or whatever, you get a book. That's what we're going to do. We're going to pick out books every time in the grocery store. It's going to be terrible, but in the most wonderful. And then, let's see, food is social. You're supposed to spend time with people while you're eating, enjoying their company, enjoying their conversation. And it's not just how fast can I eat this Pop-Tart while I drive. Which is me. I will admit I do that. And then, let's see, eat all. And one thing that they really recommended is not serving the same.
Oop, I think Lehman muted you. He's like, stop talking, Mom.
He's so good at this computer business. But one thing that they're really big on is not eating the same meal every week. So you get it once and then you have a whole new meal, which I thought that's kind of ambitious, but I want to try it. And eating real foods and really enjoying your food, like taking a bite and savoring it. And just really thinking, ooh, I made this food. I love this food. And I want to do that one day. I want to learn how to cook 3 meals a day and really, really enjoy our food. So I feel like this book, even though, you know, it's aimed at children, French kids eat everything, I feel like it talks much about how I want to live better in terms of my food. And so it's making me get stuff done in regards of I'm trying to cook more often. I'm trying to really think about preparing the meal more than, because I, you know, a crazy busy person, so I eat frozen food. And I am more of a scavenger than a cook. I just scavenge the raw vegetables and I just eat them by myself with some hummus and call it a meal. But it's not cooking, it's not real life. So I want to be French. I want to learn how to make amazing meals. And yeah. I feel like this chat that I just did was so chaotic with the camera moving around. My bad.
It turned out good. It turned out great. And it's so aspirational. Like, those are the things we want to do with food, but they feel so hard. Like, it's just easier to be like, all right, it's only Tony and I tonight. I can whip up some ramen. We can have some vegetables with it. And then we're going to go watch The Mandalorian while we eat. Like, so many things going on there that probably shouldn't be. It's hard.
I fully tell my kids, like, once a week, the McCarty Diner is closed, like, angrily, because, you know, what's for dinner? Oh, this. We don't like that. My one son will eat cereal every day if I let him. And it's like, okay, I told him last night, I said, there's going to come a time when you're going to go to your friend's house and they're going to go, oh, we're having, you know, ham and mashed potatoes, and you're going to go, oh, and they're not going to want you to come back over.
That's right. Sometimes
eat real food.
Yeah.
You can't just eat cereal for every meal.
I think I could. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Thank you, Isabella.
I want to give one more shout out real quick.
Yeah,
absolutely. Completely different book. Well, books. Rachel Hollis's books, Girl Wash Your Face, Girl Stop Apologizing. So I can't wait to read that one. I haven't read that one yet. They made me be a better person. Like, I love her. I want to be her best friend. I want to just listen to her books on audiobook on Hoopla all day long, every day of the week, because I feel so invigorated and so amazing, and just want to give her a shout out. If you want to change your life, go listen to her.
That's what I struggled. I was trying to decide. I was having such a hard time. And I kept going back to those, but then I went a different direction. But they're so good, and I love them all.
I was a little late to the train and just started listening to them a few weeks ago, and I love them so much. Like, I want everybody to read them and to listen to them. And you can with Hoopla. Nope.
Yay, Hoopla! Thank you, Isabella. And next, we're going to have Stephanie share her books that help her get stuff done.
Well, so my first book was pretty simple. It was the DIY home planner. Now, I have never considered myself very handy, but I want to be. I watch HGTV all the time. In fact, what I do when my husband goes out of town is I do something at the house. I'll either paint a room because we have a newer house. I will make a shelf. Like, I'm trying to do the stuff myself because it's way cheaper than buying stuff, which is really easy to do. But this book has just kind of inspired me. It talks about the space you have and, you know, what colors go well together and where you could, you know, what lights would go with what cabinets. And it just, I don't know, it just makes me want to make my house cozy because every wall in my house for over a year was stark white with, you couldn't even wash the walls without, it was just like that flat paint. And so I just felt like I lived in, like, you know, a place with nothing on the walls, no paint, no color. So it kind of inspired me, and now we're almost there. But it just shows you little things you can do on your own, and that you don't have to be afraid to do them. You know, and if you do something and you don't like it, they find cheap ways to, like, help you change it. My husband doesn't really like to go away now because, again, he doesn't know what he's going to come home to. Like this last weekend, he came home and I painted our master bedroom, and he was like, "Whoa!" I'm like, "I was busy. I needed to keep busy." But it's been a good thing. The book, it just gives you little step-by-step things that can help you, you know, plan your space out. And so it just makes me want to make my house all cozy and warm and inviting. And so I suggest checking that out. Now, the other one is a little stretch. It's not so much of books that help me get stuff done, but a book that makes me want to do something. And it's, you'll see when I get there, but it's an older book. It's from like 2006. It's Eat, Pray, Love by Elizabeth Gilbert. So basically, she like went through a divorce and she was trying to figure out her life. So she decided to travel and figure it out. So she went to Italy, where she ate and ate and ate. Now, who doesn't want to do that? Like, go to Italy and eat all their delicious food. And then she went to India, and that's where she kind of like explored her spirituality, you know, to figure all that out. And then she went to Indonesia, and she kind of like tried to find her balance, and she found some love. And it makes me want to travel. It makes me want to eat. Right now, like, I want to go somewhere, but I don't know where to go. I don't know. So like I said, that was kind of a stretch. It's not so much get something done like around the house or that, you know, but just, you know, maybe a nice trip would make me better because I would be less stressed and I can eat food and gain 15 pounds, you know?
Right.
I mean,
It's good.
Right. Who cares right now, right?
No.
Right. But I mean, that's been made into a movie. It's a book, but I remember reading it at the time, and I did kind of find it inspiring because I'm like, she just picked up and did this. Now, not everyone can do that. I certainly couldn't do it, but for the people who can, great. Like, good for you. What a story you have to tell. And that's kind of what she did. So like I said, that's kind of a stretch on our topic, but I just wanted to work it in. Also, because, you know, the Rachel Hollis books, I couldn't decide which one I liked better. So I just went away from it, but.
Great. Thank you, Stephanie. I think we all wish we could travel and eat. That would be nice. I would do that if I could.
Right.
I'd be okay with doing both of those things right now.
Right. And I don't like to cook. So if somebody else could cook for me and it's in a different part of the world, I mean, right, exactly. And I wouldn't have to unload the dishwasher. Perfect. It's a
Extra
win-win.
bonus.
Right.
Thank you, Stephanie. And Jen, what are your books that help you get stuff done?
Okay, which one do I want to start with? I'm going to start with probably the most bizarre of my choices, which is Changing Diapers. Changing Diapers. So I selected this book because cloth diapering is actually something that I did with both of my children. And it's something that I think a lot of people find really intimidating. And it was something that I knew I wanted to do, and I'm really glad that I did it and was able to stick with it. And I love this book because it's very straightforward, and it really goes through, you know what, a lot of people hear that and they're like, you did what? Like, you, what? You know, we're so like unused to that sort of reusable, you know, disposable diapers are easy. They're convenient. You throw them away. You don't have to think about it. I was worried about, there was two main reasons that I wanted a cloth diaper. Number one, for environmental reasons. I hated the idea of throwing all that stuff in the garbage. But the second one, and probably honestly the biggest one for me, was cost. So this book is really cool because it breaks down the different kinds of cloth diapers. There are a ton. Most of us, I think, when we think of cloth diapers, we think of like the old school, like flats with bobby pins. They have a lot right now. There's tons of different varieties. And the ones that we used were basically like disposables, but they had tabs. We used a selection of Velcro, and then we had some that had snaps. And they go on just like a regular disposable diaper. And then you just, you know, if they're solids, you dump them in the toilet and flush them. The rest you just wash. So this book is fantastic because it breaks down all the different varieties. There's ones like that. There's some that are like the old school. There's different kind of absorbent materials. This explains all of the stuff. There's all kinds of price points. But for us, we spent a couple $100s, which is it's a lot of money, but we spent a couple $100s before my first child was born. We used them his entire, from, you know, newborn to potty training. The kind that we had were adjustable, so they grew. And then we used them with our second child. So it's like an investment up front, but I didn't have to buy diapers. Which was amazing. I had to wash them, which some people, you know, wouldn't enjoy. I'm really weird in that I don't like sweeping or vacuuming, but I love laundry. And so the addition of extra laundry to my day didn't bother me at all. So that is something to consider. But cloth diapers, crazy topic. Thankfully, you know, I'm well those days. Hey, Leland. He wants cloth diapers. But if that's something that you are curious about or you'd consider, but you don't really know where to start, this book is fantastic for giving you all of the, you know, what, why, how. It's very, very practical. And I really liked that it kind of gives you the, you know, all of the basics, and it's really, really practical. It talks about, like, while you are cloth diapering, if you have, you know, issues with leaks or things like that, how you can adjust it. It's just a really, really good practical guide. A little bit crazy, like I said, but it was helpful to me, and I think it's a great resource for anybody who's considering that. My second book, back on food, is Thug Kitchen. Eat like you give a swear word here. If you don't like swearing, this is not the book for you. If you're okay with that, then this book is amazing. So Thug Kitchen is actually a vegan cookbook. I'm not vegan, but I think, like a lot of people, was kind of looking to, I'm a picky eater. We'll go that way. I'm a picky eater. I will admit that I'm a picky eater. And so kind of like going along with like Bella's, you know, comments about like eating more whole foods and eating the rainbow and that kind of stuff, I knew that I needed to change some of the ways that I eat. I love to cook. So we kind of started looking at like vegetarian and vegan cookbooks to get some ideas on how we could get more vegetables and more diversity in our diets and our kids' diets. And this cookbook is one that I love. My one cousin, who lives in Maine, is a vegetarian, and she recommended these books, and she's like, hey, you know, they're entertaining anyway, like the recipes. There's I wish I would have grabbed mine from home because they're very conversational in some of the ways that like they describe how to cook. And like I said, there is swearing. So, you know, if you don't like that, don't look it up. But I have taken a lot of these recipes and sometimes I'll add things like cheese to them. You know, this is technically a vegetarian cookbook or a vegan cookbook. I'm not a vegan. Like we've made a few things vegetarian but not vegan, but based on these things. My absolute favorite recipe in this cookbook is sweet potato black bean enchiladas, which is not a combination I would have thought of at all. And they're amazing. So, so good. I usually add cheese because I like cheese and I'm not opposed to cheese. But we've tried, the Thug Kitchen has a couple other cookbooks, so I'm not positive of which, you know, the other ones. I know that one is in this particular cookbook, but like we did a vegan chili mac one time and it was incredible. I've tried a couple other recipes and they've all been so incredibly good. And I like this cookbook to help me get some ideas because even if I don't exactly do it, it makes me go, oh, I never thought about putting that together, or I never thought about adding that to this, or, oh, this is a really easy swap for meat if we want to have a meatless dinner. So this cookbook definitely helped me come up with some new food combinations and some new ideas. And it's helped me be a little less picky and try some new things. And it's just fun. Like if you're someone who likes cookbooks, it's a pretty entertaining cookbook because occasionally they swear at you. And that makes me happy.
There you go.
You know?
Excellent. Thank you, Jen. Between, you know, all of you, there's an organizer and a cook and somebody who likes to decorate houses. Like, I just need all of you in my life. I don't really enjoy any of those things. The organizing I sort of do sometimes.
We're covering all the bases.
Yeah, that's right. Nice. All right. And mine for books that help me want to do stuff, I chose books that help me do things I already enjoy doing. So the first ones are travel books and travel guides. And for a while, my family was going to Disney about every other year, every 3 years. And I love Disney, but Disney is not for the faint of heart. It's for those who really want to plan. And over the time that we were traveling there, which was probably a space of about 10 to 12 years, it became even more so. Like you need to know where you're going to be and on what day and what ride you're going to want to ride and what restaurant you might want to eat at. And the unofficial guides, and you can see there's one for Walt Disney World, there's one for Universal Orlando. They do Disneyland in Las Vegas and Washington, D.C. as well, I think. But they are really detailed and they will help you with all of that planning. They also give you background into how rides work and how queue technology and spacing and all of that works so that Disney can get as many people through these rides as possible and yet try and make every guest feel super special at the same time. So all of that was fascinating to me, the hows and the whys of how it works. But they also tell you on each ride, you know, could it make you motion sick? Could your child be scared of it? Anything that you want to know about a trip to Disney, these books will have it in there for you. And then I also included Rick Steves' travel guides because Rick Steves is like my hero. His show on PBS, if it's on, like I'm instantly like stopping and listening to Rick Steves talk about art and culture and travel and immersing yourself in a brand new place. And he goes to Europe and his guides are fabulous. They really focus on trying to eat the local cuisine, go to places that he encourages you to go to the places that are going to be the tourist places, but also some smaller places. He encourages staying in bed and breakfasts and hostels and places that you're going to be not still isolated into your own little circle with who you're traveling with, but you're really going to get out there and enjoy the country that you're in and experience it as much as possible. So I love Rick Steves, love his guides, love his television show. Someday maybe go on a Rick Steves tour, you know, post-child in college and everything. That's a dream. That's a thing I would like to do. And then my other book is a book that makes me want to read more books. You can never have too many books on your to-read list. So the other book is Shelf Discovery by Lizzie Skurnick, and it is about the teen classics, particularly what you would consider teen classics if you were a kid in the 80s. And she calls it a reading memoir, and she just lists a whole bunch of the books that she read when she was between the ages of about 11 to 16. Other authors come in and also do some essays about different books that they loved at that same time period. And I love this book because it's funny and it reminds you of the books that really meant something to you at that time. And some of the essays are about books that probably most everybody has read: Wrinkle in Time, A Little Princess, Blubber, I Know What You Did Last Summer, the Sweet Valley High books. So they aren't even necessarily books that were like, oh, this changed my life, but books that you just loved during that time period for you. And the essays are all very fun and enjoyable and thoughtful. And there's also probably, I don't know, there's probably a good 20 books in there that I had either never heard of or never read. So they put books on my to-read list where I'm like, well, I don't know what this book is. And I should probably read it and I would enjoy it. Because there are books that I love rereading. I don't know how many times I've read Anne of Green Gables or Little Princess or The Phantom Tollbooth, books from my teen childhood years. So I love a book that makes me want to go out and read more books. So, there you go. That's a thing I might actually accomplish, is reading more books. So I really enjoyed Lizzie Skurnick's book, and it's a fun glimpse at books gone by that I have read and a reminder of why I loved them. So those are my two books that help me get things done. Thank you to all of you for participating this week. Thank you to those of you who listened. And next week, just in time for Thanksgiving, we're going to be talking about books that we're thankful exist. So that's what we'll be talking about next time. Thank you. Bye.